Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is the Hero Jamaican Coolie. And tonight as promised, I have my wife. I know we started a little bit late, but it was really difficult in getting the children to bed and getting ourselves together, and also even sorting out how to use OBS. You guys know my lovely wife Ashley. She's here for us to, look at this content, look at this content and review it. And yeah, we're gonna see what's up with this thing, man. We have to check it out and see what's going on with this thing right now. You see me? Anyway, this is our very first live stream, not only together but period. So we don't know how live streams work. We don't know how it's going to turn out. We don't know. You guys can critique as much as you want, as long as it's going to help us to be better at doing this. So, just remember that this is our first time doing it. It might be a little bit choppy. It might be a little bit messy. And we're going to give our comments and stuff in the video, but let me make sure that we're basically okay. We're both in it. All right, yeah, good. We can try this a little bit. All right, ready? So this is a series that my wife basically she pulled me into this show. She pulled me into this show, and I thought it would be really good for us to comment on this. So, I'm going to start it over from the beginning with the first. We're going to just do a couple tonight, and then, let's see if we can do like every night or every other night. We'll try to do a couple of live streams with you guys. Maybe the live stream will get better. The quality of the live stream will get better with us. We're going to leave our commentary and stuff like that. What do you think?
Let's watch it.
All right, let's watch it. All right. All right. Let's get started.
Please excuse the hair, but here is part one of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? So I met my ex-husband around March 4th.
That's not what I meant to do. Oops.
Of 2020.
I wanted to.
We met on Facebook dating site, and we also matched on Hinge. I did not realize that he was on both under two different names. So one was his actual name, and the other one was a variation, like a nickname that he called himself. Different pictures. So it was a running joke between us. Oh, you ain't even recognize that you had matched with me on Hinge. No, I didn't. And also that should have been a red flag. By the way, you will notice in this story, I called it the United Nations of red flags. It is so many.
Oops. Sorry.
Please, under two different names. So notice in this story, I called it the United Nations of red flags. It is so many red flags that you would have thought I was colorblind because I ignored all of them.
Honestly,
so, anyway, back to the story. We met around March 4th. We exchanged phone numbers. He called me, and we talked on the phone for the first time. In the first phone call, he told me that he had just moved to Georgia from California, from San Diego. His job had transferred him because he was being transferred in as the new regional manager for a major condiment company that is based here in Georgia. I'm not going to say the name. And so we also talked about his childhood. He told me he grew up in Philly. He's from Philly. Both of his parents were deceased. This is the first phone call. Both of his parents were deceased. His father was a Philadelphia police officer. His mom was a teacher. He also told me he briefly lived in Augusta with his family. He had 2 brothers and 2 sisters. He also had 2 half-brothers on his dad's side. First phone call. So I'm just giving you guys the backstory. This was the first phone call we had. So we talked about family. We talked about friends. We talked about our jobs. At the time, I was working at Georgia State Patrol. And he knew this, and he just thought that was like, wow, so you work with troopers all day. Yes, I did. Also in that phone call, he explained to me that he used to play football. He explained that he used to play arena football. I know nothing about arena football. I know about...
None of us know anything about arena football. Nope. Let's continue.
NFL, I know about college, go Dogs, but I don't know anything about arena football. So he explained to me that he used to play arena football. He used to work at Apple in the off season of arena football. And I remember thinking on that phone call, oh, okay, good for you. I don't know anything about arena football. And I believe I did tell him that I don't know anything about arena football. That'll come into play later on. So he told me, I just moved here. My job is paying for my housing and they're helping me to look for a house. He was like, right now I'm in Gwinnett County, but I'm trying to look for a house, ideally in Atlanta, like Brookhaven, Sandy Springs. He was like, I really would like to move out there. And so I thought, that's great. You're looking to get a house. You just moved here. He was like, I don't really know too many people here because I spend all my time at work and, this job is really demanding. So that was our first phone call. We talked more. He talked a lot, which took me by surprise because I'm not really used to men talking more than me. He eventually asked me out on a date. Our first date was set for Saturday, March 7th, 2020. He asked me what was my favorite restaurant. I said Cheesecake Factory. And so...
You can't say anything. At least she went to the Cheesecake Factory.
That's not it. That's not it.
She actually likes
the woman first.
Give her credit for that. She did not say, I'm not going to the Cheesecake Factory.
Babe.
She loves the Cheesecake Factory.
Babe, listen. Hold on. Babe, look on her. I am not surprised that her favorite place for go is the Cheesecake Factory right now. But I'd be surprised if it's not the Cheesecake Factory. You see it? Alright, let's roll.
We agreed to go out at the Cheesecake Factory in a location that was in between. I lived in Clayton County at the time. He lived in Gwinnett County. I realized that if you don't know anything about Metro Atlanta, that makes no sense. But basically, we lived about 45 minutes apart. So we agreed to meet at the Cheesecake Factory over at Perimeter Mall, which is in an area, Sandy Springs, Dunwoody area. I was excited. Like, I called my friends and was like, I got a date, blah, blah, blah. We'll see how it goes. First conversation was good. Hopefully he looks like his pictures because, that's always an issue with online dating. Hopefully he looks like his pictures. So on my way to our date, I took 285.
Babe, why is it that it's always... Babe, no, seriously. True. Why is it always the women that look like this that speak like that? As if, okay, so we talked about this before and I'm going to say it again, right? She has no place speaking like that when she looks like that. She has no ground. No, I'm being straight up with you. Like, where I'm from, man naturally ignore a woman like that. Naturally. It's just like in the rise of this whole thing of like body positivity. There was also a body positivity thing in Jamaica going around. And them call, like, when they call like robust women, they were calling them fluffy. I was like, calling them fluffy? Why are you calling them fluffy? What's fluffy about them? They're not a pillow. You see me? Them a call them about them fluffy. It's like they're trying to give them positivity for looking the way that they do. The thing about what I've realized, especially in society today, is that women that look like this, that we know naturally men aren't going to go for, they have been pedestalized and raised up and taught that how you look is not a problem and a guy should like you no matter what, and you deserve any guy where you think about. Did you hear what she thought? Hopefully he looks like what his pictures deem him to look like. What the frick do you look like? What the frick are you? She look like friggin' Kid, not even Kid Boo. Boo from Dragon Ball Z. Even worse than Boo to Terratid. Let's go.
And literally right before I got to Boulder Crest, the exit for Boulder Crest, I heard a boom and I lost control of my car. Thank God that not thank God, but I knew what to do. So I did not crash, but my tire blew out. So I called him and I said, hey, I'm so sorry, but my tire just blew on 285. I'm slowly making my way off the exit. I believe I pulled into a Chevron gas station. And I said, I got to get this fixed. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm a damsel in distress kind of thing. He kind of paused. He got quiet. And he was like, tell me exactly where you are. Drop your pin. So I dropped the pin. And he came to the gas station, got out the car, and I was so relieved that he actually looked like his pictures that I was like, oh my God, he's actually attractive, because he's like 6'4", 6'5".
Over 6 feet, 6 figures, 6 pack. What else? 6 inches. What she look like? What she look like? You see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. This is not a woman that most men deem as attractive.
Right.
And she has a standard. She has a standard for a certain type of guy that don't normally go for these type of women. If they do, kudos for her. But the problem is that she doesn't know where on the dating pole she actually lands, which is at the bottom of the dating pole.
She knows.
You think she knows?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give it that. I think she does know, but I think they've all been propped up to believe this thing that, I deserve everything even though I don't look the part to get it. You understand? I should just get it. You understand? I haven't done anything to deserve it. I haven't done anything to earn it, but I should just get it. And that's my problem with her. She's talking about how the guy looks, but I have yet to hear her take an introspective look and say, I don't think I fit his criteria of what he was probably looking for. Because all these women, 6 feet and all them stuff there. Okay, what if the guy wanted a woman that's 6 feet? Oh, you're under 5 feet? You're under 6 feet? I don't want to go out with you. Oh, I want a woman that's 130 pounds, like how you were, when I met you, and stuff like that. Oh, you're not that poundage. We're not dating. Like, do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
She don't.
But the thing is, he chose to go on a date with her, and I'm pretty much sure in the profile pictures he probably seen what she looked like, and he probably looked her up on Facebook and seen a full body photo of her.
You think he willingly did that? Do you think he actually? My question is, like, after hearing the whole entire thing, do you really and truly believe that he was really and truly attracted to her?
I mean, in some way, yes, because obviously I'm not going to say what happened, but obviously they got married, so at some point they did what they did, what married couples do. So obviously, it takes a certain amount of attraction for things to happen.
Yeah, but babe, what if he, like, I don't know. Alright, we can talk about this a little bit more, like, after we go through a little bit more videos and stuff, but we can't skip ahead because we don't want to, basically do a spoiler for the people and that's probably watching.
Oh, also, man, I apologize. So let me go back to the first conversation. Let me add something. He did tell me in the first phone call that he was divorced, and that his ex-wife, she had 2 children, a boy and a girl, who were teenagers, young adults. I think the girl was about 20, and he said that he had a very close relationship with his stepkids, but that he and his ex-wife had divorced because she cheated on him out in California. And so coming to Georgia was a new beginning for him. She was still out in California. The kids were still out in California. And so, you know, he was like, I can't stand her, but I still want to be in the kids' lives. I have to put that in there because that will come back later. So this is just setting the stage. Again, that first conversation we talked about family, job, friends, how he ended up in Georgia, me being in Georgia, the things that, you know, I would think people talk about in the first conversation. All right, now back to the tire blew out. So he shows up to the gas station. He changes my tire, which I just thought was the sexiest thing in the world. And then he proceeds to say, hey, I found a tire place around the corner. You need to get another tire. Like, you can't drive on this donut. So he followed me to the tire place, and then helped me get a tire, paid for it. So I was definitely like, wow. And so the vibe was good. So anyway, I get the tire fixed. We follow each other to the Cheesecake Factory over in Perimeter. We hold hands walking into the Cheesecake Factory. So in my mind, I'm like, this. Oh my God, I had butterflies. That's the look of a woman who had butterflies. So I had butterflies, and we go in. There's a long wait, and so we sit outside and we just talk, and the conversation's great. And this is where he tells me what it is he's looking for. He tells me, you know, I believe at the time he was 42. He was like, I want to get married and it be for real. He's like, my parents were married 40 plus years before my mom passed away. And I want that. I want marriage, family, a house. Like, that is what I want. He's like, I'm as a man, I'm ready to get married, but I want it to be for real, because the first time, you know, it really hurt me when she cheated on me. So he's telling me everything that I wanted to hear. And so he was like, what is it that you want? And I said pretty much the same thing. I was like, I'm ready to get married. Definitely want to have a family. And I want to marry my best friend. So we both put on the table that we wanted marriage. And this is the end of part 1. Please.
All right, so that's kind of similar to our first date as well, where, you know, when we met up in downtown Philly and we went to the Starbucks that's no longer there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I showed you many times. Every time you didn't like. Every time we drive past it, I showed you that it's no longer there.
Wow.
And you know, we were introducing ourselves to each other. We were talking about so many things, and you know, I laid it out all on the table, and I said, hey, you know, I'm not looking to mess around, to play around. I've always wanted a family. I've always wanted to get married, you know. And I basically told you that I'm not here to play around with you either or waste your time, you know. And you know, you basically expressed the same thing, that hey, you know, I'm looking for the same thing as well. And I was 35 at the time, and you were 24, turning 25 in a month. In 2 months. No, in a month, because we met 2 days after my birthday.
Yeah.
2 days after my birthday was when we met. So I just turned 35.
No, we met. Yeah.
No, actually, I was turning 34 before.
July 23rd.
So it was like about 2 weeks, I guess. But these are conversations I think people should have on a first date, because it's important to understand the mindset of the person that you're thinking about having a relationship with. Where's this relationship going? And to be able to actually walk away if this is not going to, end up the way that you want it to end up. So I don't wrong her for basically going out and expressing, hey, I'm looking to get married. I'm looking to, start a family. I'm looking to, for the happily. I think everybody actually, really, truly, bad guys, good guys, bad girls, good girls, everybody wants the happy ending when they meet people. Um, so we've done it. We've gone on our first date. We had a blast. We had a great time. You understand? And we're obviously still together. We've been together for 6 to 7 years, and we're gonna be married for 6 years coming up this year. And we have 4 children, and we have a home. We have whatever it is. We have a business. Unfortunately for her, it didn't turn out the way it turned out for us. But we were not only we weren't only physically attracted and connected, we were spiritually connected, especially like expressing certain beliefs and certain things that we basically connected on, and having Bible study and things like that. When we were having Bible studies, which date? What was it? Bible study, third date, fourth date? Third date, we had our Bible study and things like that. So, I think that really cemented our relationship and drew us closer together, because we had very like-minded things that, kept us going regardless of what we went through after that. Anyway, let's go to part two.
And welcome.
Alright, this is what now? Part one. Where's part two? Oh, here's part two. It says part two. It says part two.
All right. Who the fuck did I marry? Part two. So we both put on the table what it is that we wanted. We both had established we were dating for marriage. We were not dating just to date. We were not trying to be friends with benefits and none of that.
That's exactly what we laid out on the table. That, hey, listen, we're not here to F around. And I'm not saying that because I did my wild thing and stuff like that, and whatever it is. I've been and I've expressed this here, that ever since I was young, I've always gotten into relationships with the hope of getting married, but always end up getting burned, because I believe that I'm a very naive person. You know what I mean? So, I didn't just like come out and say, just because I met you and because I was an immigrant and all that stuff, I was looking for, no. I really and truly was looking to get married, you know what I mean? And have a family and settle down. So, I understand when she's saying, yo, hey, we both express this and stuff like that, but one of them is lying. One of them is lying.
And it's even worse with women, because we have a biological clock that we only have a short amount of time that we can have kids.
Right.
And she looks like she's about 40 years old.
She said 40. She said she's 42.
She's 42? Oh,
I believe. No. I think she said he's 42, but she hasn't said. But I think she. Let's continue.
She looks like she's in her 40s. So
She probably in her 40s.
She's probably close to menopause.
Right.
If anything. So.
You know what I mean?
So the dinner at Cheesecake Factory went really well. We laughed, we joked, we talked about people, which is kind of up my alley, my sense of humor. It was a good vibe. So at the end of the date, at the end of dinner, we sat in his car and he played this song for me by John Legend. I don't know the name of the song. By the time this video posts, I will put the name at the bottom. I can't remember the song. I just remember that John Legend was talking about, I think I met my wife tonight. And I thought it was a sign. So I was like, oh.
Do you remember what I sang to you? You don't remember what I sang to you? Boys to Men, thank you in advance.
Oh,
Boys to Men, thank you in advance. Look it up, people. Boys to Men, thank you in advance. That's the one. That's the first song. I don't think I sang it that night, but
yeah, you didn't.
I think I sang it like on one of our dates. I was like,
Oh my God. So anyway, we ended up sitting in the car talking just about life and experiences until about midnight. So during this conversation, he again is telling me how it was, what it was like living in California, how he went out there, he went to San Diego State, he played football for San Diego State. He talked about how, he loved it out there, so he stayed. That's when he joined the company. And then he explained that he also did arena football, but only did it for about 2 or 3 years. He claims that while he was doing arena football, the team that he was on won a championship. But again, keep in mind, I don't know anything about arena football. So I was like, okay, I didn't know that they had championships. And he was like, he got a little offended, like, yeah, they got championships. And, he was on that team. So he talked to me about how he worked at Apple. He worked something in the IT area of Apple, but it was in the store. Again, it was one of those, it's like when I tell people I used to work at Amazon. I really wasn't paying much attention to it. Why? So we talked about all that. We talked deeply into what happened with the ex-wife. It's because I asked. He was not volunteering all this information. So in other words, I get very uncomfortable when men start talking about their ex a lot. That's not what happened. I was asking questions because I was really trying to figure out, okay, are you ready for a relationship, or are you still missing her? So we talked about that. We talked about my exes. That was a mistake.
I think that was something good of her to do when you're basically trying to find out if somebody's actually ready for a relationship. And even though, I think she knew where she stood as a person. I think she had enough security within herself to understand that, this person is not ready for me. You understand? And maybe at that point in time, she wasn't so heavily invested in that person, so she would be able to probably walk away. If but let's continue. But I think that was something very positive that she did in terms of like picking his brain to see where he was at emotionally. You understand? So I think that's a good thing, because you don't want to be in a relationship with somebody and you're just a rebound. And there are some rebound relationships that work very well, because if that person gets you to take your mind off your ex and you move on, that's really good. But rebound relationships oftentimes don't work. And I guess she didn't want to be a rebound chick, and that's not bad. I don't think that's bad. You're already at the bottom of the totem pole. Why do you want to be like even in a worse situation than that? You don't want to be like, just somebody garbage disposal. Anyway, let's roll.
Made because I talked about how I dated at one point in time somebody I worked with. That will come back later. And he seemed real cool about it. He was like, that was before me and blah, blah, blah. So the conversation was good. Midnight comes and I go home. Yes, I went home. We ended up talking. Mind you, our first date was March 7th. And within about 2.5 weeks, Brian Kemp, our governor, shut Georgia down. We were going to be on lockdown. So during those 2.5 weeks, we talked every day. We went out again at Red Lobster. I remember Red Lobster. But everything was going great. The issue was, where are we going to quarantine? So the question was, are we going to quarantine at his place?
Let's
which
hold
he
on.
had like
Let's
a
rewind
studio.
because I kind of missed that part.
So the conversation was good. Midnight comes, and I go home. Yes, I went home. We ended up talking. Mind you, our first date was March 7th. And within about 2.5 weeks, Brian Kemp, our governor, shut Georgia down. We were going to be on lockdown. So during those 2.5 weeks, we talked every day. We went out again at Red Lobster. I don't even.
When did we got locked down in January in Pennsylvania?
March 2020.
We got locked down in March.
Yeah, March 2020 was it was supposed to be 2 weeks and it ended up being 2 years. Remember, it was 2 weeks to slow the spread or something like that. Remember, it was the campaign.
But I remember distinctly about not being paid in January or February from the gym.
But March we were.
Okay.
Yeah, March 2020. How can you forget?
And I know we were locked down and stuff like, I know we were locked down and doing things like virtual. I know I was doing a virtual class with the children.
Yeah, because it was only supposed to be for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was only for 2 weeks. But I remember I was doing virtual classes and we would come in and remember I was wearing masks to go into the gym. And I remember when KJ was born. When KJ was born and we went to the hospital and stuff like that, and they started the summer camp, I know I was mad about that. So I do remember that we probably opened before that. But anyway, let's continue.
I remember Red Lobster. But everything was going great.
I sure bet you would remember Red Lobster. How much biscuits in yam, girl? Babe. Alright.
The issue was, where are we going to quarantine? So the question was, are we going to quarantine at his place, which he had like a studio type of situation.
Why is it that came up? Why did that come up? And she barely knew the guy. Because remember, she said basically they spoke all night and then March 7th come and then quarantined for 2 weeks and then went out once again. And then she's now talking about quarantining with the guy.
Right.
What happened in between that space in time? You see, there's some information that's missing, How are you just gonna get up and decide to quarantine with a man? Babe, you think you're funny,
Like, it clearly, where he was staying, I was like, it's like a studio apartment, but he kept telling me, like, this is temporary because I'm looking for a house. Like, he showed me the email from a woman who worked at the company where she was out on maternity leave, but she was putting him in contact with a realtor to help him find a townhome or a single family house. So I was just like, okay, this is definitely temporary. Like, he's not trying to stay here long term. And she was apologizing in the email. I'm so sorry, this should have been taken care of before you got here, but it wasn't, da-da-da-da-da. I saw the email. I read it. I read the email. So the decision was, we're going to quarantine at the studio or are we going to quarantine in my house? First mistake I made. Well, there's a lot, but this was a mistake I made. So ladies, caution moment. During one of our dates, because keep in mind, in those 2 weeks, we were seeing each other quite a bit. Nothing physical or anything like that. Just
liar. You a liar. A liar.
Oh.
You tell me the man never bust kiss and tongue and all them things there upon that.
He said nothing physical. I think she just mean the main course. I don't think she mean appetizer.
I know him probably feel up on her, yo.
That's what I'm saying.
I know him feel up on her.
That's
Grab booty and
I think she means like,
yo, babe, she probably grab it like a couple of times and say, yo, she have to quarantine with this.
What I'm saying is I think she didn't mean sex. She meant like I mean, she meant sex. She didn't say anything
like fondling and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Cause I'm sure he fondled her and
Well,
she
she
grabbed
didn't say they had a whole run yet.
She grabbed the main course and all that, and I said, yo, this have to quarantine with me, you know. I have to quarantine with this, you know. I have to get locked down with this, you know. Clink clink, as my wife always say, clink clink.
Two people who I thought were really on some. All right, let's see if this is going to grow into something. He came to my house. When he came to my house, I had a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath townhome. He was in a studio. Now, I'm telling you guys all of this in order of how it happened. So some things I'm probably going to insert what I was thinking and the mistake I made. Can I turn this off? No. Okay, so leave that. And I say that to say that I did not realize inviting him to my home probably made his eyes go, oh shit, she's a keeper. She got this 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath townhouse, and I'm in like a little studio. Yeah, let me go ahead and pursue this. What I need to do to quarantine here.
I think it goes both ways. He hit all her check boxes, as you see from the first date. You understand? So she even, and you know, them meeting up and them, and who's to say that, because you mentioned earlier, and you said that, you know, maybe he was looking at her Facebook page and all them things there. Who's to say that after they started talking and stuff like that, and he looked at her page and stuff, that her home is not in the page, what you drive is not in the page, and all those, and like even, you know, certain things. You understand? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So he probably already knew the type of home that she had and the type of vehicle that she drive already. You understand what I'm saying? Because you have certain people that really when I say Jamaican the word pre in a Jamaican means like observe.
Right.
So you have certain guys with them kind of certain things, you know, like him say, yo, she have a house and all them things there, and then she's right. He probably say, yo, that's what I tell you, say, yo, for me, I think she knows that she's not supposed to be with that type of guy. That's number one. Number two is, did he really care about her certain ways, or was he just finessing her to get stuff out of her? You know what I mean?
I want to know where he got from her, though.
That's what I'm saying. I want to know what he got, if he got anything from her.
The decision was made, quarantine at my house. So the state went on lockdown. He came and stayed with me in my home, and for the most part, in the initial beginning, it was fine. It was fine. The reason why I hesitate is because I grew up in the church. So for me, it was really like an internal struggle of, bruh, you always said you would never live with a guy unless he was your husband. And now you living with a dude and he ain't your husband. Like, it was a struggle for me because I knew better. And don't.
What was the struggle, actually?
The internal struggle.
The internal struggle of not sitting on that dick. That's all it was. Yes.
For me, I'm just telling you, the way I grew up, it was like that. It was not sitting right with me. But at the same time, I didn't want to quarantine by myself. I did not want to. So there we go. So he moved in. See? We talked about the bills. Let me clear something up that I said in the other video where I said he paid all the bills. He paid all the household bills. He did not pay my car payment, my cell phone, or my car insurance. He paid the rent because my rent at the time was. It was really like an internal shine. The reason why I hesitate is because I grew up in the church. What to do, and he ain't your husband. And don't come for me. I'm just telling you, the way I grew up, it was like that. It was not sitting right with me. But at the same time,
She said.
I didn't want to quarantine by myself. I did not want to. So there we go. So he moved in. We talked about the bills. Let me clear something up that I said in the other video where I said he paid all the bills. He paid all the household bills. He did not pay my car payment, my cell phone, or my car insurance. He paid the rent because my rent at the time was less than $1,000. He paid the utility bills. And so when he's telling me that he's a regional manager,
for a 3-bed, babe, that's why I tell you we need to move, man.
This is pre-quarantine. This is pre-quarantine prices. This is pre-pandemic prices.
Let's continue. Let's continue.
I heard it's so.
I was like,
so high in Atlanta to like even like to just to fill up your car to live. It's not. They say it's not worth.
But gas is still cheaper down there.
Not anymore. Everything is crazy. Everything is crazy. Rent. Everything.
Wow. Okay, so you got money. And so he paid all the household bills. So my check really was just taking care of me, myself, and I. And I am not. This is where it's not gonna make me look good, but it's the truth. It was intoxicating to not have to worry financially about how to pay the bills. It was a wonderful feeling. And so I kind of pushed to the side the fact that, yeah, you shacking up, because it's like, but your paycheck, you don't have to worry right now. Like he's taking care of all of April's bills before April even comes, because this was still March. So we're living together, and I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, he's helping to cook and clean, and then we have a conversation about house. Is he still going to buy a house just for him, or is he going to buy a house where it's for us? Because we are going to try to make this thing work, be official, get married, have a family. So
I think that should have been a red flag for him and for her. And the reason being is this: you don't know this man for a month. Even though you spoke about, like, you know, getting married and stuff like that, you guys have not like even in that situation you were kind of thrust together, you know, kind of, because our situation to certain things thrusted us together, but we already melded before that.
Right.
You understand? We already had a solid like foundation before we were thrusted to like even stay together longer. You know? But when you're talking to the guy that you barely know, like, what his status is about, you know, are you gonna get a home for us, or, you know, because the thing about it is that you could have just asked him if he's getting another home and then carry on the relationship and then find out what's gonna come next. But right there and then you're basically bottlenecking the guy into like just getting a home for us. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's kind of adding undue pressure to somebody that you barely know.
Well, she said he said that. We'll see. He said that he wanted to marry her.
Yeah, but not right away, babe. Even though you and I spoke about wanting to marry, we didn't marry for a whole year.
8.5 months.
8.5 months. Well, it don't matter. You know? But we basically just like, do you understand what I'm saying? We didn't go through that process of constantly, yo, we need to get off. Like, it was when you know, we were coming down to the wire for the baby, and we said, yo, we can't be out of wedlock. We can't have her out of wedlock. That's one thing that we both agreed on, that we did not want for our child, and two, we wanted to grow up in a more peaceful home and not an apartment. So that both of those things we both agreed on. She is actually thrusting what she wants on him by saying, you know, you know, we both talked about, no, you said that we talked about him and the house, and that's you basically saying that, yo, you want something right away. You understand what I'm saying?
Question now on the table is, what are we going to do? Because I didn't want to stay in Riverdale, Georgia. I did not want to raise a family there. I refused.
All right, so you see, this is what I'm saying. She already pre-planned. She already pre-planned her moves, but he's not privy to any of that.
You're gonna see why she did that. I'm not gonna ruin it, but you can see why she did. Well, I can ruin it. Well, never mind.
Babe, I know. Okay, I understand if she don't want to live in a certain area.
No, it's the reason why this all happened so fast. This all happened so fast. You're gonna see why. This say what you're saying that. I'm gonna explain to you in the next video why she said that. So just keep going. But I'm gonna explain to you why she said that in the next video.
Alright, we're just gonna do one more video and then we'll call it tonight and thing, isn't it?
To have a baby in Clayton County. So the decision was made, let's start looking for a house for both of us. Remember, he was already looking for a house for him. But
babe.
No, I'm gonna explain to you. No, it's gonna make sense once you.
Then he was like, you know what, we're together, I plan to marry you. Let's look for a family home for the two of us. He was like, this is how much I was approved for. That's when he showed me the Chase paperwork. It was a letter stating that and it had the Chase emblem at the top. He showed me a letter stating that he was approved for $700. All right, who the fuck did I marry? Part 2.
Yes, so anybody can actually just like print off something and put symbols and edit people and all them stuff there and show it to anybody. That's real easy.
You can do that on a Word doc. You can do that on Microsoft Word.
Yeah,
get an emblem and
she was caught up. She was caught up and she didn't pay attention to certain things that she should have paid attention to. Because she was caught up. She really liked the guy. He fed her a lot of sweet nothings. You understand? And then she kind of thrust, because I felt like she thrusted certain things on him. You understand? Rather than find out where his mind was at. Like, you just invite the guy to your house and then, like, because he's there quarantining, you're basically saying, okay, so, you know, while you're here, you know, so, you know, we're in a relationship now. Are you going to buy a house for us? And stuff like that since you plan to marry.
Like I said, I'm going to explain to you in the third part. I'm going to explain to you on part 3 why she said that.
It's part 3.
Oh, they're all mixed up.
Part 3.
Please excuse the hair, but here is part 1 of who the...
That's part 1. That's so mixed and jumbled up.
Well, how about we go to her channel then? Let's go to her channel.
We'll find the one. I think that's her. She has a blue check mark.
Okay. Alright, then.
Please excuse the hair, but here is part 1 of who the fuck did I marry?
Yeah. May I tell you? How do we find our videos then?
What about clicking on her picture?
You think so? Alright. Alright, let's see if we can. Okay, this is... part 18, 17. Jesus, I'm crying.
Yeah.
Part 40. What the frick?
Yes, I think it's 50 parts, babe.
50 parts?
We're gonna have a good old time. Yeah.
2. Part 4. Where's part 3?
Thanks for
Where's part 3?
Oh, maybe just type it into the search engine.
Yeah, she look like a grandma right here, so.
Wait, turn it into the I just type it into the search engine.
You think so?
Yeah. Part 3. See?
Part 36 the clock. Oh yeah, here we go. It's
marry?
slow. It's slow.
That's it. Oh, it sounds so weird.
3, who the fuck did I marry? So this is when he showed me a letter from
Why did you do that?
$750,000.
Okay, here it is.
All right, part 3, who the fuck did I marry? So this is when he showed me a letter from Chase with the Chase logo at the top, stating that he had been approved for a mortgage for a $750,000 mortgage or a $750,000 house. So he was like, we can't go over $750,000. And I said, I remember asking him, can you afford the mortgage on a $750,000 house? Because I know I can. This is when he explains to me, I told you how I played arena football. I invested my money really well. So he said, I have money that will help pay for the mortgage. He was like, we're good. Like, I'm financially, I am okay. He was like, that's why I'm able to get approved for a $750,000 mortgage. So he told me that his money was in different savings accounts. He said he had an account with Chase Bank, he had an account with US Bank, and he had an offshore account. This is what he told me. The offshore account, I was like, why? And he explained something about, the US, the US imposes taxes on money when you have a certain amount in US banks. He was like, so everybody knows that it's smart to have some money in an offshore account. Y'all, look, I live paycheck to paycheck. I was like, okay, that's whatever. I said, so you have the money to pay for a home. I'm also holding in my hand a letter from Chase saying that he was approved for $750,000. So I went off of what I saw. So we contacted a realtor. I won't say his name, but man, if he ever sees this TikTok, I owe this man such an apology. But we contacted a realtor who was based in Cobb County because I was very adamant I wanted to move back to Marietta, Smyrna area in Cobb County, Georgia. He was fine with that. His whole attitude was, you're going to be my wife, happy life. So we met a realtor. I would find houses that I wanted to tour. Keep in mind that this was COVID. So at the time, we could not tour a home. It would have to be a virtual tour. So this particular realtor, we found a house in Douglasville, Georgia. Not Cobb County, but nevertheless it's in Douglasville. I was fine with Douglasville. So we found a house in Douglasville, Georgia. The realtor did a FaceTime tour of the house. The house was really a nice home. 5 bedrooms, 4 baths. So we did a FaceTime tour of the home, and the home was listed, I believe, roughly 400 and something thousand. I really liked the house. I could see myself living there. I could see us living there. I could see us with the kid there. This is now April, just for timeline purposes. This is April. So
March.
He really liked the house. He was like, you know what, we'll put an offer in on the house. He was like, if you like it, because again, it was COVID, we weren't going to be able to see the house in person because the family still lived there. So he said, I'll put an offer in. We'll see if it's accepted. I said, okay. So he puts an offer in. He's telling me he put an offer in. I need to clarify some things he told me and the things that I actually saw. So for this house in Douglasville, he told me he was putting an offer in. The realtor would call me because one thing that the realtor told us, he was like, if the woman likes the house, typically the house is going to get bought. So he kind of dealt with me a bit more than he did my ex-husband. And again, this is April 2020. This is before we got married. So at the time, he was my boyfriend. So the realtor was calling me and it was like, hey, I put the offer in, and what they're asking for is proof of funds. And I did not know anything at this time about buying a house. So I was like, hey, you probably need to talk to him, because I'm not even listed on the mortgage. Like, from the paperwork I saw, it was only in his name. So he called him. I guess they talked. I was not there, but I'm assuming that they had talked. So the boyfriend is coming, my ex is coming home saying, yeah, I talked to so-and-so. I sent him over the paperwork. The offer was approved, and they are going to try to do a virtual closing. First, we got to do an inspection. If the inspection goes all well, then we have to do a virtual closing. He also told me that he put down earnest money on the home. He put down, I believe, $5,000. He said, I just transferred the money over to the realtor's account or whatever, so that it could be earnest money for the house. So I'm just like, okay, great.
I feel like she should have been a little bit more involved in the process of, like, you understand, because you're dreaming up of, moving into the home, dressing it up, etc. Like, remember, this is what we did. You were just as much involved in the process of buying the home as I was, because I had to work. I had to leave you to do all the process, sending over the papers, the proof of income, the proof of what we saved over time, things like that. You were heavily involved in us trying to purchase the homes that we actually visited. So I think it was really foolish and naive of her to just sit her butt down, not even get to understand how the process works, and just trust this man that you barely know with everything.
But that's the thing. She wasn't on the she wasn't on the mortgage. So, and two, she was working.
But yeah, but babe,
And then third, the most important thing, she gave him the will.
What do you mean the will?
She relinquished control. So
But
when
babe,
that happens, she becomes a damsel in distress. She becomes, my wrists are broken. That's what she becomes. I don't know. This is, in her eyes, this is like manly stuff. Listen, my part is to decorate the home and to go online and look for, appliances for the house, furniture for the house.
I guess so.
Because
that was when we first.
You as the man, you handle the business. We look at the house together. You handle the business, and I'll furnish the home.
You're right. Because when we moved into Morrisville, that was the case too. When I alone went to look at the house, and then I brought you back pictures. Mm-hmm. You're right.
So we become a damsel. It's not like, oh, it's lazy type of thing. It's like, all right, I'm taking my role as one.
I never said she was lazy. I said that she was naive because she barely knew that guy.
Right.
You understand? You were having my child at the time. So, right. You understand? Where was I gonna go? Where was I gonna run to? You understand? So, I think we had more of a connection where we were always like this, like constantly talking, constantly on top of everything. Whereas, you could get more information out of me than even the people that were like showing us the house and stuff like that. So.
Well, our situation was a little bit different. It's kind of like it started to spiral down into all we had was each other.
Yeah.
That she's still, in a way, she was still like out there. She still was working. She was
still by herself. She was still an individual in a relationship. But that's what I'm saying, babe. She did not cement the relationship with, the way that we cemented it by not only just spending time but basically really and truly bonding.
Right.
You understand? And bonding ourselves to each other. You understand? She was more so physically attracted to the guy, not even just physically attracted. This whole thing of 6 feet, 6 figure, this that that was her, because you can tell that that was her mantra. Okay, this guy check off all of that because him sure check bank account, him have this in nine pants, him have the top, the height. Okay, I am locked off. He did not
She did
bond
not
with
look.
the
No,
man.
she didn't look at his character.
Right. She didn't bond with his character in any way because she was still stuck in the fantasy. You know what I mean?
So realistically, this is April. We should be able to get in that house by June. Okay, no problem. So this is what he told me. About 3 or 4 days later, I get a phone call from the realtor, and the realtor is like, "Hey, I'm just checking to see what you guys want to do about that house." So I was confused. I'm at work, and I said, "Oh, I was told that he put an offer in," and the realtor was like, "He did? I didn't know that he put an offer in." And I said, "Well, why wouldn't you know? Like, he told me he put the offer in, and he had paid earnest money, $5,000 earnest money." And so the realtor was like, "Well, let me call him and find out what's going on with that, because I didn't know anything about it." So red flag, of course. So I call him, and he, in true narcissistic nature, he flips the script, and he like goes off. He's like cussing, going off, like he shouldn't. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. He shouldn't be calling you. If he has a question, he should call me because I'm the one that's on a mortgage. He was like, and now it's going to be an issue. And I said, "Well, did you put the offer in with him or not?" And he said, "No, I did not put the offer in with him. I put the offer in with a friend of mine who is a realtor, so I can give him the business." So I did not hear from that realtor again. So I was just like, "Is the house under contract or is it not?" He was like, "Yes, the house is under contract." This is how crazy things work out. About 3 days later, on Realtor.com, I'm looking at the house because I was trying to figure out in my mind how I'm gonna decorate. It shows the house is under contract.
Well, you see what I'm saying? She's more fixated on that fantasy with him. Oh, I got a man, he's 6 feet tall, he has 6 figures, he's got a 6 pack, his pants is bigger than, a walrus. You understand? She's not looking into the character of the man. She's not taking accountability to safeguard herself in certain ways.
She was like, "Oh, I get to finally relax after like 40 years of working. I'm tired.
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna go to bed alone. Me, myself, and I. This man come along. Everything I dreamt of and more. He about to buy a house. He actually likes me. I think he loves me. All that good stuff. He fixed my tire. So in a way, like, I know how he got her. He got her by fixing that tire.
but that's what she said. She
I
was like
know.
she was sold.
It was head over heels from there. It's like, oh my gosh, that's the first. All right, you know how, I don't know if she grew up with her dad or not. You know how certain things that when a woman doesn't have her dad, like, she can get finesse easily.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of them. That's one of them. Or a man, just like these women want to go out on trips and stuff. If your parents take you out to, like, Miami, Paris, Africa, and all those other good places, you're not going to be impressed by that. You're not going to be able to get finesse easily. I don't think she had a problem in her life.
Right. I agree. And always, and also, like, always having to bring her car in to repair it, saved her a lot of money because these things are always a headache. and stuff. That's why I changed your brakes, I changed your oil, I changed this, I changed that on your car and stuff like that too, because I know what a headache it could be and what a money saver it could be if I changed it. Like, we could always use the money to do something else. You know what I mean?
But that wasn't that case. It was just the first date, like literally. Instead of him like just okay, we're gonna wait on AAA together.
No, but I mean, no, for real. That's I don't think what he did was wrong.
Right. No,
it's how she basically fall in love with him for that.
I'm not saying that's wrong, but he knew exactly what he was doing.
I don't think so.
He knew exactly what he was doing. He was like, if we don't know what he got from her, but he had to get something from her. He had to want it. I don't know. He had to get something from her.
You think he got something?
Yes.
I guess at the end of the series, she's gonna tell us what he got from her.
The man name is Legion.
Legion, our personality. All right, let's go.
So, show my boyfriend. My boyfriend's like, I told you he was under contract. He was like, I did you not believe me? And I ain't had a heart to say, hell no, I didn't believe you. Like, it seemed too good to be true. But once I saw the house was under contract, I absolutely believe that, okay, it's under contract with him. Like, yeah, we're about to do inspection. We are about to move. And so we had driven by the house because, again, keep in mind the family's still living there. So we had driven by the house. At this point, he was like, I want us to start looking for furniture so that way we can go ahead and order it. So when it's time to move, the furniture is ready because, you know, it takes like 6 to 8 weeks sometimes for furniture to be delivered if they don't have it in stock. Like, he was very methodical in planning and saying, this is what we need to do. So we started going to Home Depot, Lowe's, because we had a printout of what the sellers were going to take. They were going to take the appliances. He had a printout. Let me be clear. He had a printout. So it said on there that they were going to take the appliances. So we needed to get a new stove, new refrigerator, new microwave, all that stuff. So we went to Home Depot and Lowe's, and I went ham. I chose all these new appliances. And here's where we get into the shopping.
Babe, like, I don't know. She just, babe, she didn't know the guy, and she just completely, none of us, both of us did not completely do that, because inch by inch, we basically vetted each other.
Right. And you know what?
She completely threw herself into the man's hand and just relinquished control, period. She didn't have, I'm not saying that you can't have guards up, but she was not aware of anything, and that's not good, period.
She knew she chose to ignore. It's a difference.
Okay.
It's a difference.
Okay, alright, so she chose to ignore.
She chose to ignore. She chose to ignore. Because it felt too good to her. Like, I don't, like she said, he paid for April's bills and we in March. That felt too good to her. I don't care. Lie to me. I need to keep my money and just pay my phone bill or whatever and pay my car note or whatever.
And do whatever I want with it.
Lie to me, baby. Lie to me.
I mean, I could understand where, she was like, because, if a man is paying all the bills and stuff in the house and, you have free money to do whatever you want and he's not asking you for anything, then of course, I can understand, but you still, I don't know, man, because, like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I did the same thing. I just came in and just started to pay bills straight up.
We literally went to being a couple.
Yeah, we literally went into being a couple and stuff.
It's like we were like a married couple before we were even married. We just knew our roles and we played them. And then certain circumstances happened to make us
even more, cemented.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at it, babe. I don't like when I look at it. It took a even though we went together very quickly. Like there was a process of us basically like I don't know what to say. It's still a vetting. We still went through a vetting process. We went through a vetting process where we didn't just like jump into our relationship. We didn't just like this that whatever it is and blah 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 and you know she basically just like dash everything with. You understand me? I say she just dash with everything and just say, yo, take me as I am, take me 6 foot boy, take me six
I'm
figure
tired.
bank
I'm
account.
tired of working.
You understand?
I'm tired of struggling.
No, when you're in this, she's desperate.
That's what I'm saying.
She ain't getting no man. She
I'm
doesn't
tired
get
of
men.
struggling.
Tired of struggling.
She
You've
said
been working the
she
entire life.
said she even dated somebody at her job or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But first of all, what did this guy look like? That's the question. What did this guy look like?
I don't know.
She can't pull. That's what I'm telling you. She's saying the guy's 6 foot. She's never said how much he weighs though.
Well,
That's one thing.
I seen Legion already.
You seen Legion? What does he look like? How much he weigh? Him big and hefty too?
I seen this. I didn't see this whole body. I seen his face.
Is his face hefty?
Well, it's not hefty.
Mm.
It's like how he has like those light brown eyes. That's what got it. Those little light brown eyes.
The hazel eyes?
It's not even like hazel. They're like light brown.
Hazel, man. Just call
No,
it
they're
hazel.
not hazel. Hazel is like a different. It's like.
Yeah, but babe, she basically she was a fish out of water, and she loved being out of water. She was not cautious about anything, not a thing. You understand? She just I don't know. I don't know what to say like in terms of what she did.
I don't know. It's just different. Like from a woman's standpoint, it's like my savior is here.
But how can you be sure if it's your savior?
That's the thing.
Is he hitting all the points of a savior?
He finessed her so good. I can't even say finesse because she knew what was happening. Like he wooed her, babe. He showed her security for the first day. I got you. Your tire blow out, girl. Come on with me. And he paid for the tire. Not only did he put the tire on, but he paid for the tire. Like, come on now. I come in immediately. Okay, we moving in together. I'm paying all the bills. Immediately from the jump. All the fences are down. What's the main attribute that every woman looks for in a man? A provider. And he showed himself to be one. Like, come on now. And because like he always had an excuse for every single thing. It's like, all right, I seen the paper with the Chase emblem. He made her think that she was going crazy in a way. Like I seen the paper. He got an approval letter.
I think she was like more naive and hopeful that he was telling the truth rather than be real and say that this dude could be lying and stuff. So when she saw the paper, she chose to ignore again like the red flag that was going off in her head. Say, yo, something don't seem right with this. But she's like, yo, 6 foot, 6 figures. Can't let that go, Can't let that go. Could be lying, but I highly doubt it because him hitting all the boxes. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She not thinking clearly.
She wasn't,
outside of
and
that
that's
box.
the thing. She wasn't under duress. It's a difference. She wasn't under duress. He's doing all this stuff at the same time. He's paying all the bills.
So I understand that she could fall into that where she'd like, yo, why would he lie? He's already paying all my bills. Yeah, I could understand that where he's paying all the bills and she's like, yeah, man, I'm gonna pay all the bills and wax it down and thing and alright, yeah, I guess I could understand, but I felt like, you know, quarantining stage, I don't think you guys had enough time to really and truly get to know each other enough for you to basically say, yo, quarantine on my yard.
And that's the thing, they had 2 whole weeks in the house by themselves. How were they doing?
We all know what they were doing. Yo, this is the first bedroom. This is the second bedroom. Bathroom. Bathroom again. Half a bathroom. Downstairs. Basement. Yeah, she was probably getting it hard. Hard. You understand? He probably really and truly gave, and I think that's one of the reasons why, like when she talk about how, you know, they were me, I believe that probably did it before he came to the house. She was like, yo, lockdown after lock this down before him. Yeah, because she's basically saying, I don't know if there's any other women out there.
Right.
So she's like, yo, I have to lock this down with me. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think I think she probably thought that, yo, him too good to be by himself. I don't believe he's single. He's probably out there. Other chicks probably want quarantine with him. I can't make him quarantine at my yard because I don't know how many women go into that house. He has to quarantine at my house where nobody know where he is right now. And even if they know where he is, they better not come to my freaking yard.
Well, that's the thing. Women are creatures of comfort too. She probably like, I'm not going over this and wants to.
Well, that's true.
Studio bedroom, because if it's like that, if it's like that, and you know how you men are. When y'all single by yourselves, y'all can just sleep. Y'all can just like have a bed
on the ground,
or just have a bed with your TV and you're fine. We are creatures of comfort. If she had a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath house, that thing was probably like, you know, furnished over the years and it's comfort for her. She knows the neighborhood and stuff. There's no way she was gonna go over there with her.
But I still feel like
she got to live in a bubble for 2 weeks.
I feel like she impound her. And she say, yo, that pound didn't need farm for 2 weeks by herself. But I didn't want to quarantine by myself. Yeah, damn right, you didn't want to quarantine without that dick. You never want to quarantine without it at all. For real. Anyway. Thank you guys for watching. And we appreciate you guys. Whoever tuned in, whatever it was, 1 person, 2 person, 3 people. We appreciate you guys watching, and like I said before, this is our first live stream. We're going to have live streams up every time we put the children to bed. We're gonna see if we can continue this series. We're gonna see if we can
all 50 parts.
All 50 parts. We're gonna see what we can do and give our, you know, input. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section. This is the Hebrew Jamaican Cool and his wife Ashley. Peace. We are out.
Oh wow, a lot of shit was going on.
For real, damn.